The owner of a bankrupt restaurant allowed a beggar and his daughter to live in the restaurant while it was up for sale. However, when he entered without knocking on the door, he couldn't believe what the beggar was capable of doing. Daniel was sitting on the sidewalk, waiting for his daughter to come out of school. He chose a side street away from the main exit to stay out of sight. Other parents usually gathered, waiting for their children, but Daniel knew if he did that, he would receive dozens of scornful looks. They don't understand, he thought. If only they knew how hard I'm trying to bring our life back, they wouldn't look at me this way. Daniel was deep in thought, reflecting on the harsh realities of his life. Maybe I should try harder, seek more. Maybe there's something I haven't thought of doing, he pondered. There must be a way. There has to be. Suddenly, a sweet and energetic voice broke his train of thought. "Dad, I'm here. You can't imagine how much I have to tell you." It was Lily running towards him with a huge smile on her face. "I learned so much. The teacher also praised me and said I was very intelligent." She spoke non-stop, each word loaded with enthusiasm. Daniel stood up, his face lighting up with his daughter's happiness. "Tell me everything, my dear. But let's walk and talk, or we'll miss lunch," he said as he took his daughter's backpack. Walking side by side down the street, Daniel listened attentively as Lily narrated her day. The conversation lasted until they approached Michael Oliver's restaurant. Daniel and Lily passed through the alley next to the restaurant, a place they had visited many times over the past weeks. The restaurant was a haven amid the many difficulties the father and daughter faced daily. Michael, a middle-aged man with a serious expression that rarely left his face, had a heart as large as his stature. Despite his stern appearance, his generosity knew no bounds, especially for those in need. As usual, there was a small group of homeless people gathered in the alley, waiting for the day's meal. Daniel and Lily's presence had become a regular sight, and some greeted them as they arrived. As they approached the storage door, where Michael organized large pots full of hot food, the inviting aroma filled the air. "Hello, Daniel, Lily. How are you today? You arrived just in time. I've just filled the pots again," Michael greeted. "Well, thanks to your help, Mr. Michael. You don't know how much this means to us. I think I'd be lost trying to find something for my daughter," Daniel replied, his voice laden with gratitude. "You don't have to thank me every time you show up, Daniel. It should be the duty of every place, but it seems most prefer to waste as if no one was in need. Anyway, I have something special today. I hope you like it. If not, it's my daughter's fault," Michael joked as he filled a food container. Daniel and Lily thanked him, took the filled container and sat down in the alley to share the meal. Lily chattered away as they enjoyed the food and ate quietly. When they were almost finished, Michael appeared and walked towards them, sitting next to Daniel. Michael was a friend of Daniel, and it was common for him to sit and chat casually with them. But this time something was different. He looked rather worn and tired. Daniel, noticing the change in his friend's mood, felt a twinge of concern. "What's happened, Michael? You look worried. Is it something with the restaurant or with your daughter?" Michael hesitated, but finally shared his situation. "Daniel, things aren't going well. I'm facing serious financial problems. The customer base has decreased significantly over the last few months, and debts are piling up. I'm afraid that if the situation doesn't change soon, I'll have to close and sell the restaurant." His voice was a mix of desperation and anguish. Daniel remained silent for a moment, absorbing Michael's words. The restaurant was not just a source of meals for him and Lily, it was a symbol of hope, a reminder that kindness still existed in the world. "Can't there be a solution? Something we can do to help? The restaurant can't just close like this after so many years." Michael shrugged, a gesture of near surrender. "I really don't know, Daniel. I've tried everything. I promoted the restaurant, offered discounts, but nothing seems to attract more customers. And with the economy as it is, people are spending less outside. Mr. Michael, you help us when we need it most. There must be a way we can give back. Let's think of something to help, I promise. Maybe we can find a way to draw attention to the restaurant, something you haven't tried yet." Although he had no idea what they could do, the determination in his voice was clear. Daniel knew the situation was serious, but he refused to just accept fate. Michael smiled weakly, touched by the offer of help. "Thank you, Daniel. Your willingness to help, even with your own struggles, means a lot to me, though I have no idea how you could help. I sincerely hope you can get through this phase, Michael. I know very well what it's like to lose everything suddenly. It's a terrible feeling, and I wouldn't wish it on anyone." His eyes reflected a deep sadness, but also an intimate understanding of Michael's situation. Moved by Daniel's empathy, the man encouraged him to share more. "You never told me much about how you ended up this way. What exactly happened to you?" "I worked in advertising. It was a career I loved, you know? Creativity, strategy. I was really good at what I did. But the company couldn't keep up. With the market down, clients cutting back, we eventually closed doors. I was one of the last to be laid off, hoping things might change." The memory of his last day at the office was still vivid, the shock and disbelief of colleagues, the sadness in everyone's eyes. The following weeks were the worst imaginable. I looked for a job every day, but nothing came up. Rent started to get behind, savings ran out. Then one day the worst happened. We were evicted, me and Lily. Daniel paused, the pain of that moment still fresh in his mind. Suddenly, without a job, without a home, not knowing how to protect my girl, it was all very desperate. Daniel's gaze drifted into the void for a moment, reliving the anguish of feeling like he was living a nightmare. Michael listened in silence, absorbing every word. Daniel's story was a harsh reminder of how quickly life could change. "Daniel, I'm so sorry for everything you've gone through. Your strength and determination, even in the face of so much adversity, are truly inspiring. I hope things turn around for both of you, just as I hope they do for me. We'll manage to get through all this somehow, but it takes a lot of courage," Michael said sincerely and admiringly. Daniel smiled, grateful. "Thank you, Michael. Your help already makes a big difference for us. Although I can't do much, know that you can count on me for whatever you need." Daniel and Lily, shortly after, said goodbye to Michael and walked towards their makeshift shelter. The path to the corner they called home led to a tent they had set up under the roof of a small, abandoned house, a space that, despite everything, offered at least a roof against the wind and rain. The gate of the house was always open, inviting, but Daniel respected the invisible boundaries set by the possibility of an unknown owner and never dared to enter the house, limiting himself to the use of the small covered backyard. The day passed without them managing another meal. When night arrived, Daniel and Lily settled inside the tent to sleep. The silence was filled only by the sound of their calm breathing and the occasional distant noise of the city. Daniel stared at the tent ceiling, lost in thought. "I need to find a way out for us. Sooner or later a solution will appear, I'm sure of it," he reflected, his mind tirelessly working on solutions. Lily, already asleep, breathed softly beside him. She was the sole reason he continued to fight. "She is all I have, and I am all she has. For her, I cannot give up." With that last determined thought, he too fell asleep. Part of the night passed calmly and quietly. However, the stillness of the early morning was abruptly cut by a harsh and authoritative voice, waking father and daughter inside the tent. "You two, get out now. Get out, or I will have to tear down this tent, do you hear?" The voice, laden with authority, made both wake up frightened, their hearts pounding against their chests. Lily, still disoriented from the interrupted sleep, looked at her father with fear and confusion. "Dad, what's happening? Why are they calling us?" she whispered, her voice trembling. Daniel, trying to remain calm in the face of his daughter's evident fear, replied in a low and steady voice, "Stay here, Lily. I'll see what's happening. Don't leave the tent," he instructed, trying to convey a security he himself did not feel. As he stepped out, Daniel encountered the imposing figure of a police officer with the patrol car parked on the street, its red and blue lights flashing in the dark. The officer, with a stern expression, wasted no time. "You are trespassing on this property, and by the state of the gate it looks like you also broke the entrance." The accusation was serious, and Daniel quickly tried to explain the situation. "Sir, we haven't invaded anything. The gate has always been open and the house is completely abandoned. We were just trying to shelter here," said Daniel, his voice laden with desperation. But his words seemed to mean nothing. The officer cut off his explanations. "It doesn't matter. You can't stay here. Abandoned or not, this is private property. If you don't leave now, I will be forced to arrest you and take the girl away." The threat was clear, and Daniel knew he had no choice. The fear of being separated from Lily, of leaving his daughter alone, was unbearable. Resigned and bending down to look inside the tent, Daniel said to Lily, "We have to go now. Grab your backpack. We'll find another place to rest, all right?" he said, trying to hide the tremor in his voice. Together they left the makeshift shelter, passing by the patrol car as they walked away. Daniel felt the weight of the officer's gaze on his back and tried with all his might to ignore the urge to run as fast as he could. As they walked under the cloak of night, Daniel struggled against the tears that threatened to escape. Lily, sensing her father's tension and sadness, held his hand tighter. Daniel looked down at his daughter's face and saw a resilience that always surprised him. "It will be okay, Dad. Those bad men at least didn't hurt you. So it will be okay," she said, with a conviction that tightened Daniel's heart. He wanted to believe her words, wanted to find the same strength he saw in his daughter, but the uncertainty of what came next weighed on him. "I have to be strong for both of us," thought Daniel, as they moved further away, leaving behind the only shelter they had. "I cannot cry in front of her. As much as I want to, I need to stay strong." Walking under the vastness of the night, Daniel and Lily finally came upon a park, a quiet space where they could rest. Lily's exhaustion was visible as she fought against sleep and tiredness with each step. Noticing his daughter's struggle, Daniel chose a secluded bench, a place where they could rest for a moment. Gently, he settled Lily on his lap, offering the little comfort he could in that uncertain situation. Before falling asleep again, Lily murmured in a weak voice, "Dad, I'm hungry. Isn't there anything to eat until morning? I don't really like the school food." These simple, direct words struck Daniel like a dagger. The feeling of being powerless in the face of his daughter's hunger was overwhelming. "How can I protect you from the world if I can't even provide you something to eat?" he thought, the pain of that reality cutting deep. Fighting against the tears that threatened to fall, Daniel stroked Lily's hair, trying to offer some consolation. "I know, my dear, I know, but tomorrow at school you can eat during recess. Just a little more patience, okay? It will be morning soon." With eyes heavy from tiredness and hunger, Lily looked up at her father and smiled. "Okay, Dad, I love you very much, you know. I promised to grab some cookies for you," she said before finally falling asleep. Alone with his thoughts while Lily slept peacefully in his lap, Daniel allowed himself to cry quietly. The tears fell freely, each one carrying the weight of the failure he felt as a father. "God, how long do I have to make her live this way?" he reflected, his heart squeezed by pain and the unconditional love he felt for his daughter. Looking up at the night sky, Daniel searched the stars for some sign of hope, an indication that things might somehow improve. "Please give me the strength to change our luck. I'll accept anything, I'll do anything. I just need an opportunity," he whispered to the universe, a silent prayer from a father desperate for a better future for his daughter. With the dawn of a new day, the routine repeated itself. With Lily by his side, Daniel headed to her school, a ritual that, despite the circumstances, provided him with a sense of normality and purpose. The morning passed slowly, each moment marked by a latent concern about what the future held for them. When it was time to pick up his daughter, Daniel was in his usual spot, waiting for Lily with an anxiety masked by calm. Together, father and daughter walked toward Michael's restaurant. However, as they approached, a new blow awaited them. A "for sale" sign was nailed to the facade of the restaurant. Daniel's heart sank at the sight, the reality of the situation cutting him deeper than expected. "This can't be happening. No, Michael won't give up like this. It's because of him that my daughter eats more than once a day. I won't let this happen," he thought, his shock transforming into a firm decision. In the alley as they prepared to receive the day's meal, curiosity and concern drove Daniel to question Michael about the sign. "Michael, what about that sign? I can't believe you're giving up the restaurant. I know you too well to see you give up like this." Michael's look was a mix of resignation and sadness, a mirror of the internal struggle he was facing. "Daniel, I had no choice. The financial situation of the restaurant became unsustainable. Selling was the only option left. I'm sorry for you two and everyone else, but there is nothing more I can do. But for this week, I guarantee you will still have something to eat. I need to travel for a week, and my daughter will take care of things here in the meantime. She will take care of you too." Amid the whirlwind of emotions and concerns that beset Daniel, his mind worked frantically. The fear of no longer being able to feed Lily, the concern for Michael's future and his restaurant, everything seemed to be heading towards a state of almost paralyzing despair. What if we no longer have a place to get food? What if things get even worse? The thoughts overlapped, each bringing its own load of anxiety and fear. Then, in the midst of this storm of worries, A spark of inspiration illuminated the darkness of Daniel's despair. His experience and skills in advertising, which for so long seemed to belong to a past life, suddenly appeared as the key to a solution. I can use what I know. I already know how I can help, he realized, a wave of determination replacing fear. Looking at Michael with renewed intensity, Daniel made his proposal. Michael, I have a solution. Give me this week. Let me use my advertising skills to attract more customers to the restaurant. In exchange, my daughter and I will sleep in the storage room, just a safe place to spend the night. His voice was full of hope, but also urgency that left no doubt about the seriousness of his offer. Michael, initially surprised by the proposal, pondered Daniel's words. The restaurant was on the brink, and the idea of selling seemed the only way out. However, Daniel's proposal was something completely unexpected, a ray of hope. After a few moments of reflection, Michael nodded. All right, Daniel, it's a deal. You have 1 week. If you can bring in more customers and show that there's hope for this place, I'll reconsider the sale. His decision, though cautious, was a vote of confidence that risked in Daniel. Daniel felt a mix of relief and dread when he heard Michael's answer. The responsibility to save the restaurant, along with the chance to provide a safe haven for Lily, was immense. Thank you, Michael. I promise I will do everything to make this work. You won't be disappointed, I promise. Daniel had a more peaceful day, finally having a place for them to rest. They returned to the restaurant just before dusk and found the storage room door open. Carefully, they peered inside and saw a young woman arranging a mattress among the boxes, a simple yet meaningful gesture in that makeshift space. Good evening, Daniel said, his voice echoing slightly. Sorry to disturb you. You must be Michael's daughter, aren't you? The woman looked up, surprised, but her face quickly lit up with a welcoming smile. You must be Daniel, she said, approaching with a friendly expression. I'm Emma, Michael's daughter, and this must be Lily, right? What a beautiful girl. Her voice was warm and she bent down to greet Lily, who watched the scene curiously. Emma invited them inside. Please come in. Sit down and make yourselves comfortable. Feel at home. I made some hot soup to welcome you. I figured you might be hungry. Just wait here, I'll go get it. In the blink of an eye, she left, and soon after, the three found themselves sitting on boxes in the storage room, each enjoying a beautiful bowl of soup. Daniel and Lily accepted the meal with gratitude, the enticing aroma of the soup filling the air. As they ate, Daniel asked about Michael. And your father? He said he was going to travel. Did he leave today? I thought he would still be here when I returned. Emma confirmed that he had already left for his trip. He had to leave today, but he left me well instructed. I know he trusts me to handle things around here, and that already makes me more confident that I can manage. You seem to have the same intelligence and kindness as your father. You will surely succeed. Daniel smiled and received a shy smile in return. By the way, this soup is really wonderful. You must have inherited your father's cooking skills. Do you like to cook? She responded with a nod, her eyes glowing with evident passion. Yes, I really enjoy cooking. It's a form of expression for me, but it's not what I want to do with my life. I've always dreamed of making a living from music. Cooking speaks to the soul, but music speaks to the heart. Daniel listened attentively, impressed by Emma's passion. Music has that power, doesn't it? It makes us feel connected to something bigger, something that transcends words. I've always liked it too. I've played instruments, did you know? I know piano, guitar, and a bit of violin. Lily, though quiet, listened to the conversation, her eyes moving between Daniel and Emma with innocent curiosity. She observed the exchange of smiles between her father and Emma. It was a rare scene for her, to see her father so engaged in a conversation, a sincere smile lighting up his face in a way she almost didn't recognize. The happiness emanating from him was quite different, a welcome change from the constant worry that seemed to weigh on his shoulders lately. As the conversation flowed naturally between Daniel and Emma, Lily patiently waited for a chance to share her thoughts. Finally, finding a moment of silence, Lily spoke with the sweetness and sincerity only a child possesses. Daddy, Emma would make a great mommy, don't you think? Daniel, caught off guard by Lily's remark, felt his face heat up in a deep shade of red. Embarrassment and awkwardness instantly flooded him as he searched for the right words to apologize while laughing nervously. Lily, for goodness sake! Emma, I'm so sorry, she's just a child, you know how children are, right? He stuttered, not quite knowing what to say. Emma in turn blushed at the comment, but her reaction was met with genuine laughter and a warm smile. "Don't worry, Daniel. She is absolutely adorable. I understand. With all this difficult situation for you two, she really must be missing a mother," said Emma, her voice full of affection and amusement. That brief interlude of discomfort did not diminish the spirit of the evening. On the contrary, it added a layer of intimacy and humanity to the meeting. The conversation stretched on for some time until Emma decided to leave. She said her goodbyes, leaving only father and daughter in the darkness and silence of the storage room. After Emma's departure, Daniel and Lily settled on the mattress that now served as their bed in the confined space of the storage. The environment was calm, a comfortable silence filling the space after the energy and warmth of Emma's presence. As they lay down, trying to find comfort on the makeshift mattress, Daniel's mind still echoed with the laughter and conversations of that evening. However, before falling asleep, Lily broke the silence. "Dad, I saw how you were looking at Emma. You like her, don't you? No use lying to me, you looked all silly." The question, asked with disarming simplicity, made Daniel laugh in surprise. "Time to sleep, little one. No more talk for today. I'm tired," he said, though his heart was warmed by her observation. Lily added with a giggle, "She liked you too, I can tell. She was all silly with you too." Her words, spoken with the confident innocence of youth, left Daniel surprised. He watched Lily close her eyes, a content smile on her lips as she settled down to sleep, leaving Daniel alone with his thoughts. Daniel's mind revolved around the possibility of that assertion. Could it be true? Could Emma really have felt something for me? Or is it just Lily's imagination? She's just a child. It could just be fertile imagination. The idea seemed somewhat unlikely to be real. He definitely felt something for Emma, but the reality of their circumstances made mutual feeling seem impossible. As these thoughts enveloped him, Daniel gave in to fatigue and fell asleep. The next morning, Emma, with her usual energy, served breakfast for Daniel and Lily, a kindness that went beyond what was expected. As they enjoyed the simple, yet lovingly prepared meal, Emma asked Daniel about his plans for the restaurant. "Do you have any idea what you're going to do to help the restaurant? My father said you were good at advertising and might have some ideas about what to do." Her curiosity was genuine, mixed with a hint of hope. Daniel, chewing his bread, responded, "I'm still thinking, but I'd like to take a look around the place. Maybe then I'll get some ideas. Knowing well what you're advertising is really important to create something truly eye-catching." Emma, recognizing Daniel's need for space and time to work, offered to take Lily to school. "I can take Lily with me so you can focus better and have more time to think about your plans." The offer was more than just a gesture of help. It was a sign of trust and support for Daniel's efforts. Grateful, Daniel accepted, thanking Emma for her generosity. "That would be great, thank you, Emma. I assure you that all your support and care for the two of us will not be in vain, just as your father's trust in me won't be either." His gratitude was deep, relieved to know that Lily would be in good hands. After the girls left, Daniel walked through the door from the storage into the kitchen. From there he moved to the main part of the restaurant, where empty tables awaited customers who did not come. The silence of the closed space was profound, but to Daniel it was a vast field of potential. As he inspected the place, his eyes landed on an easel with a chalkboard near the entrance, the welcome sign inviting customers inside. It was then that an idea began to take shape in his mind. When Emma returned, Daniel was waiting for her seated on the boxes in the storage, the energy of his new idea overflowing with anticipation. He shared with her the vision he had. What if we use this entrance sign to announce something different? Something that makes people want to come in and see what's happening. The excitement in his voice was contagious. Daniel continued, "We could advertise special dishes, promotions, or even themed events. Something that changes regularly and creates a sense of novelty and expectation." He spoke with confidence, his experience in advertising shining through the plan. Emma listened attentively, her face lit up by the prospect of positive change, but she still showed some uncertainty. "The idea is really good, Daniel, but we need to keep in mind the current conditions of the restaurant. We can't afford to incur many extra expenses," she explained, her voice carrying a mix of optimism and caution. "We need something simple, yet effective." Daniel nodded, fully understanding Emma's reservations. He closed his eyes for a moment, letting his mind work through the tangle of possibilities, searching for a creative solution that would fit the situation. Then, as if a light bulb went off in his head, an idea emerged. What if we had games? For instance, a customer could order a random dish. Any dish from the menu would be served, but before eating, they would have to guess the name of the dish. If they get it right, they get the meal and a drink for free. Emma's hesitation quickly gave way to growing enthusiasm. The simplicity and ingenuity of the idea captivated her. That's brilliant, Daniel. It's a fun and engaging way to draw people into the restaurant without requiring a big investment. Plus, it creates an incredible experience for the customers, she exclaimed, her admiration for Daniel's creativity only growing. Emma's enthusiasm was so great that, in a burst of joy, she stepped forward and hugged Daniel. The spontaneous gesture left him momentarily surprised, his face flushing with the sudden proximity. The embarrassment, mixed with a touch of joy, tinged his cheeks red as he gently returned the hug. As they stepped back, both with shy smiles on their lips, the energy between them had subtly changed. However, Daniel cleared his throat, trying to bring the focus back to the conversation. Let's start planning then. We need to spread the word and maybe even think of other games or events we can hold. We should do something different each day so customers always have a reason to come back. Emma agreed, inspired by Daniel's determination. Yes, let's do that. And I have some other ideas that might work well considering the limited budget. The conversation continued, both exchanging thoughts and suggestions, a feeling of renewed hope filling the space. At that moment, the future of Michael's restaurant seemed on the verge of being saved. With the plan carefully outlined and the excitement mounting, Emma took the initiative to execute the idea. She took the chalkboard and, with clear and inviting handwriting, wrote the phrase that hoped to attract the curious: order a random dish and guess the name. If you get it right, your meal is free. Placing the sign out on the street was filled with a mix of nervousness and hope, a gamble on human creativity and curiosity to rejuvenate the restaurant. As the restaurant opened, Emma busied herself in the kitchen trying to distract herself with daily tasks. She washed the few dishes there were, cleaning and drying as she went. Will anyone be interested? What if no one wants to take the risk? Just because the idea is good doesn't mean it will work. Anxiety grew, but she tried to maintain faith in the plan. Then a sound cut through the silence and tension of the setting, the bell at the door announcing the arrival of a customer. Emma's heart raced and she quickly wiped her hands on her apron before going to greet them. There stood a man with an expression of evident curiosity as he asked about the sign. I saw the promotion at the entrance. How does it exactly work? Do you really eat for free? His voice carried a mix of interest and challenge. Emma explained the dynamics with an enthusiasm she could hardly contain. You order a random dish from our menu and I prepare it for you. Before you taste it, you try to guess the name of the dish. If you get it right, the meal and drink are on the house. The sparkle in her eyes was undeniable, the hope that this simple interaction could be the beginning of something bigger. The customer seemed amused by the offer. Quite interesting. I accept the challenge. Let's see how it goes, he said, sitting down at one of the tables. I would like a random dish, please. Emma, almost in disbelief at her own luck, nodded and hurried to the kitchen to prepare the first dish of the day. As she chose the ingredients, a renewed energy filled her. This could really work, she thought, allowing herself an optimistic smile. Meanwhile, in the storage room, Daniel spent the day immersed in a mix of anxiety and anticipation, alternating between reviewing his ideas and peeking through the kitchen door, waiting for any sign of Emma. The absence of news fueled his worry, making him question whether the plan had really worked. What if no one was interested? What if it was a complete failure? No, I can't think like that. I need to stay positive. It will work out. It's just a matter of time. He tried to ward off the bad thoughts, focusing on the hope that Emma was simply too busy to come to the storage room. He waited for Emma all morning, but given the time, Daniel had to leave to pick up his daughter from school. However, upon returning, his worry turned into curiosity when he saw Emma involved in her daily routine of feeding the homeless in the alley. As soon as she saw them arrive, with an enthusiasm she couldn't contain, she hurried to bring them inside. You won't believe what happened. The idea is working. We had more customers today than usual. You're doing it, Daniel. You are truly brilliant. Her joy was contagious, her eyes shining with success. Daniel, hearing the news, couldn't contain a laugh of pure happiness. "Really, that's incredible. My God, you have no idea the relief I feel right now." The news that only 4 customers had guessed the names of the dishes was the icing on the cake. It meant that not only had the idea attracted more people, but also that the restaurant was generating some profit. But still, we can't get comfortable. We need to keep up with the novelties and bring new things. While I was in the storage room, I was thinking about the next step. What if we tried something similar with juices? Customers could try to guess the juice flavor by taste. If they get it right, they can order as many glasses as they want. Emma, still influenced by the excitement of the day, received this suggestion with enthusiasm. "Great, I love it. I noticed that people are drawn to challenges, especially the younger ones." The next day, a new sign strategically placed on the street announced the novelty: "Order a random juice and guess the flavor. If you get it right, drink as much as you want." The expectations were high, and although the idea did attract a certain number of people, Emma noticed that the increase in customers wasn't as significant as they had hoped, compared to the increase the previous day. The afternoon unfolded at the same pace. Each customer who entered brought with them a certain curiosity, but the number of people dwindled as the day progressed without major changes in the overall movement of the restaurant. At the end of the day, Emma found Daniel in the storage room, his expression laden with concern. "Daniel, the juice idea was good, but it didn't bring exactly the number we needed. I think we need something more eye-catching, something that sets us apart from other restaurants, something that really catches the eye," she confessed, her words tinged with despondency. The sincerity and urgency in her voice reflected the pressure they both felt to revive the restaurant. Daniel, noticing Emma's concern, delved into thought, searching for a solution. Then he remembered something Emma had mentioned before: her passion for music. "Emma, you said you like music, right? Do you play any instruments, or have you ever performed for an audience before?" Emma, surprised by the sudden shift in the conversation, hesitated for a moment. "Yes, I like music and I play a bit of guitar. But I've never performed before. I only sing to myself and my dad." "What exactly are you thinking?" There was a hint of suspicion in her voice, a certain fear making her question where this conversation might lead. Daniel, with a smile on his lips, let his silence speak for itself, prompting an immediate understanding in Emma, who quickly recoiled. "You're not suggesting that I perform, are you?" "Daniel, I don't know if I can. I won't deny it's a good idea, but what if I get too nervous and can't sing?" As the conversation took an unexpected turn, Daniel noticed the hesitation and fear in Emma's eyes. The idea of performing publicly seemed to terrify her. However, Daniel was willing to try to work around the problem. "How about this? Start by singing just for me and Lily. Consider it a rehearsal. If you manage to sing for us, you can perform fearlessly for the restaurant's audience," suggested Daniel, trying to keep his tone gentle and reassuring. Initially, Emma still seemed uncertain. The idea of singing, even to a small and friendly audience, was a challenge that touched her deepest insecurities. "But what if I sing off key?" "I'm not all that, Daniel. I'm an amateur singer. I have no technique. I never studied properly to be able to sing like this." Emma's voice was a mix of fear and a desire to share her passion. Daniel, however, did not give up. "Emma, we trust you, and no matter what happens, we'll be here supporting you. It's a chance to show your talent, even if it's just to the two of us." Lily, always the biggest supporter, joined her father. "I really want to hear you sing, Emma. Please, I'm sure you must sing like a princess, like in the movies." Lily's request, made with eyes bright with expectation, was the final push Emma needed. After a moment of reflection, Emma conceded, "All right, I'll try, but I can't promise anything, okay? I can sing for you, but it doesn't mean I'll sing for the entire restaurant." That night, the storage room transformed into an impromptu stage, with the three of them seated on boxes, Daniel playing the guitar and Emma unleashing her voice. As she began to sing, her sweet and melodious voice filled the space, revealing a hidden talent that not even Daniel could have predicted. As he watched her sing, the man discovered a new passion: watching Emma sing. It was an experience that warmed his heart, a new and profound feeling that completely enveloped him, leaving him enchanted in a way he had never experienced before. For her part, Emma, immersed in the music and in Daniel's presence, discovered something about herself she had not known before. The sensation of watching Daniel play, the way his skilled hands drew melodies from the guitar, was like witnessing a kind of magic. At that moment, she realized that her admiration for music and the act of singing was only part of the reason for her emotions. What truly enchanted her was Daniel himself. The recognition of this truth brought a whirlwind of emotions, a mix of happiness from the discovery and anxiety about what it meant. After the last note was played and the last verse sung, Emma was radiant. The experience of performing, initially terrifying, had turned into a reason for excitement. "Thank you so much for this, truly. Now I know I can do it, and I will give it my all. Let's bring music to the restaurant," she said, her voice filled with newfound confidence. When the restaurant reopened the next day, a new energy vibrated in the air, announced by the updated sign promising live music and a musical challenge for customers. Live music, guess the song name and win a dessert. This unusual promise for a neighborhood restaurant sparked the curiosity of many, attracting a crowd that sought not just a meal but an experience. Daniel had dedicated himself to setting up a makeshift stage with fruit crates, creating a cozy space for Emma to perform. Despite the simplicity of the stage, it was a beautiful setting due to the colorful fruits. Daniel, dressed in the work clothes that Emma had provided, took on the roles of server and cook with surprising skill, proving himself a first-rate chef. Little Lily was not to be outdone. She helped her father with a seriousness and dedication that enchanted. She passed ingredients, picked up plates and glasses, and moved around the kitchen with a grace that only children possess. As the afternoon progressed, the restaurant filled up more and more, the customers drawn by the novelty of live music and the proposed challenge. Emma, with her sweet and captivating voice, enchanted everyone, transforming the space with her melodies. Each song was met with enthusiastic applause, and customers eagerly participated in the game, each trying to guess the names of the songs to win their promised dessert. Meanwhile, Daniel, although busy with the demands of the crowded restaurant, never missed an opportunity to admire Emma whenever he could. Each time he passed by the stage, he allowed himself a moment to watch her sing, a smile always blooming on his lips. These brief moments, when their gazes met and smiles were exchanged, were interrupted only by the need to attend to customers' calls. Yet Daniel's smile remained, a reflection of the enchantment and deep admiration he felt for Emma. When Daniel returned to the kitchen after one of these moments, Lily, with her keen observation, commented, "Daddy, you have that silly smile again. I haven't given up on having a mommy," she said, a hint of mischief in her voice. Daniel, caught off guard by Lily's comment, quickly turned back to work. "Let's focus on the dishes now, okay? We have a lot to do to keep chatting. And be careful with the glasses, use the chair to reach them." He tried to keep his voice neutral, but his heart was light and he felt almost buoyant. It was evident that for Daniel, that day was not only about securing the survival of the restaurant. In the days that followed, Michael's restaurant only grew in popularity. With each passing day, the number of customers increased, drawn not only by the promise of a good meal, but by the unique experience the restaurant now offered. It was against this backdrop of success and infectious joy that Michael returned from his trip. Approaching the restaurant, Michael could hardly believe what he was seeing. The entrance was crowded with people, a scene he hadn't witnessed in a long time. The sound of his daughter Emma's voice, singing to an enchanted audience, reached his ears, blending with the cheerful murmur of the customers. The for sale sign that had once marked the facade of the restaurant had disappeared. Entering the restaurant, Michael was even more surprised to see Daniel, who had taken on the role of server with the naturalness and elegance of a true waiter. Dressed impeccably and with a smile that radiated happiness, Daniel greeted Michael with genuine joy. "Welcome back, Michael. How was your trip? I hope it wasn't too tiring," he said, with a simplicity that hid the effort and dedication behind the transformation of the restaurant. Michael, still trying to grasp the situation, laughed with emotion, allowing himself, for the first time in a long time, to cry with happiness. The success he saw before his eyes was something that, in his darkest moments, he had never imagined possible. "You've done an incredible job. It's a real miracle. I owe my life to you, Daniel." Despite the emotion, without wasting time, Michael returned to his seriousness. "But it seems we don't have much time for talking and crying. We have a lot of work to do. Come on, back to action," he declared, taking his place in the restaurant with a new energy. The collaboration between him and Daniel flowed naturally, as if they had been a well-tuned team for years. This moment marked not only the recovery of the restaurant but the birth of a new family, united not by blood ties but by shared dreams, efforts, and above all, music. The transformation of Michael's restaurant into a lively and joyful meeting place was living proof that even in the darkest moments, hope and creativity can open unexpected paths, bringing light and color to the darkest days. At the end of a busy day, the restaurant finally found its deserved rest. It was in this moment of calm that Michael called Daniel for a private conversation in the storage room, while Emma and Lily enjoyed a moment of tranquility in the kitchen, enjoying the leftovers of a dessert. Michael, with a feeling of pure gratitude, wasted no time in expressing his thanks to Daniel. "I don't know how to thank you for everything you've done. You don't know how much this all means to me and my daughter. It wasn't just her who put on a show, but you as well, my friend." Daniel, humble as always, thanked him for the compliment. "With a bit of creativity and the help of everyone, especially Emma, we managed to overcome the challenges. I didn't do this alone, Mr. Michael. I couldn't have done it without her." Michael smiled upon hearing Daniel's acknowledgement of Emma's role in this achievement. "Say what you will, but you can't deny how skilled you were tonight. You served the customers as if you'd been doing it for years, and they seemed very satisfied with the food. You've proven yourself to be an excellent waiter and cook." Then the conversation took an unexpected turn. Michael's expression suddenly became serious and direct. "But I truly hope you'll be as good a son-in-law as you are a worker. Or did you think I didn't notice the smiles exchanged between you two?" he declared, an observation that completely took Daniel by surprise. The mention of the possibility of a deeper relationship between Daniel and Emma, coming from Michael, made Daniel's face turn a deep red. The idea that his feelings for Emma could be so evident as to be noticed by Michael left him speechless, a mix of happiness and embarrassment flooding his being. I don't know what to say," Daniel stuttered and laughed nervously. After that day, the course of everyone's lives took an unexpected path. Michael's perceptive observations about the connection between Daniel and Emma proved true. Daniel proposed to Emma shortly after Michael's return. Emma's positive response was not a surprise to either Lily or Michael. The wedding was celebrated 2 months later. In the meantime, Daniel became part of the restaurant team, joining forces with Emma to not only keep the establishment thriving but also to pursue bigger dreams together. Their collaboration, based on mutual respect and shared passion, helped accumulate enough resources for the purchase of a house. Lily, who had become a constant and joyful presence both in the restaurant and in the lives of Daniel and Emma, received the news that she would have a new sibling with indescribable happiness. This announcement brought new meaning to what was already a story of overcoming and unity, symbolizing the beginning of a promising and loving lineage. Over the years, the restaurant not only remained a beloved meeting spot in the community, but also expanded, becoming a successful franchise in the city. Daniel's innovative vision, combined with Michael's tireless dedication and Emma's unwavering support, turned the restaurant into a symbol of resilience, creativity, and success. The stability achieved by the family was a testament to the power of collaboration, love, and faith in dreams. The days of struggle and uncertainty gave way to a future of prosperity and joy, where each new challenge was seen not as an obstacle, but as an opportunity to grow and strengthen together. Their legacy, marked by music, the unforgettable flavor of the dishes, and the love for each other, became a source of inspiration for all who crossed their path. A reminder that, with unity and love, it is possible to turn dreams into reality. If you've loved this story, I invite you to show your appreciation with a like and join our community by subscribing to the channel. Your support motivates us to keep delivering compelling stories nearly every day. Don't miss out on the next extraordinary tale that we're about to showcase on your screen. We greatly value your support. See you soon.